What is up, Group Coach Nation? So yes, let's answer some questions. This is about 4 question sets that I get a lot when we're teaching, when we're speaking, just doing the stuff that we all do as coaches and consultants, right? You kind of see the patterns. You know what people ask you. This is what people ask us. There are 4 big reasons that group coaching programs fail. Masterminds, group coaching programs, all that kind of genre, right? They don't usually ask the question like, what are the 4 reasons, but they ask about these 4 categories. And this is what stops people and what keeps people from succeeding. So let me just explain how this works, okay? I've been running group coaching programs and masterminds for years now. You can do this. You really can. You need a little bit of help, you need a little bit of structure, have a team member to like make sure you got some structure around you. But here's ultimately what's going on. Number 1, the reason people don't succeed is simple offer clarity. It's so hard for us as experts to take what we know so much about and communicate that in a way where people can adopt that and say, yes, I want that. We typically come at a problem and we say, oh, I know how to fix it. And you have so much information. You're like a PhD in your expertise area, which is awesome. But the people you're selling to and marketing to, they're like 2nd and 3rd graders, not because they don't know how to do stuff, but because what you do is not what they do. They're not naturally gifted at figuring that out. They'd be you, right? So they need a process. They need a structure. They need to know how to break the code on what you know how to do. Particularly for business coaches, that is really, really difficult. We get in our way because we think, okay, I got to create a group coaching program or something like that. And I have to have all these things. I got to teach them all this stuff. I got to get them from point A to point Z. No, really, you have to get people from like point A to point B and maybe point C. Your job is not to be their coach for the rest of their journey as an entrepreneur, as a business person or whatever. Your job is to be their coach and their guide for the section of the road that they're on now. So that's really, really critical. Like I've got a 17-year-old in my house right now. We just learned how to drive last year, right? So she learned how to drive. My job is not to be her driving coach for her whole life. My job is to get her through the permit and the driving license phase and this first year to really, really safe and really well. And that's it, right? She has to take it from there and she'll have to go to more driver's ed or whatever she needs if she gets in a wreck and has to lower insurance rates or all things. It's just not my job at that point. You got to do the same thing, put on that mindset. So the real issue here is an offer that's clearly defined and easy for your prospects to want. That is such a critical thing. And like, that's the thing. But when you don't have that, you know how it is. You're like reaching out to everybody. You're doing all the posts. You're on whatever platform you're on. You're sending the emails. You're asking for referrals. But people just aren't like getting it. They might be like, you're so awesome. Love talking to you. Thanks for the Zoom call or whatever. But they're not getting it. They're not buying it. They're saying, oh my gosh, this is so helpful. Maybe the call you were on with them, they're saying it's so helpful. But then they don't take action. They don't become your client. That's an offer clarity issue. There's a lot around that. I don't have obviously time to unpack every little bit of that in a video like this, but there's so much around that. You have to get clear on what your offer is to the person who's buying it and how you're going to help them grow into working with you, not how you're going to relieve a little tiny bit of pressure for them on a sales call. You relieve a little bit of pressure for them on a sales call, and then all of a sudden they feel better for a minute and they don't take action and their life doesn't change. You have to work with them for a while to get their life to change. That's normal. So you got to have an offer that's super clear for them, but an offer that helps them become your client, and an offer that helps you work with them for the time that you actually need to have a real impact in their life. You know what I'm talking about? You all have your own expertise. When you have that figured out, all of a sudden people start buying and people start connecting and people start doing it. Okay. That is so cool. Because then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, cash flow's coming in. The roller coaster's over. We're not doing this whole thing anymore. Like, you got stability. So first up, if you're struggling right now with, okay, I'm talking to people or I'm reaching out to people or I'm posting all over the place or I'm doing all the activity I'm supposed to be doing, but the people just aren't either showing up on a sales call or engaging in some way, or they are, but they're just even then not buying, that's an offer clarity issue. You have a connection and a clarity issue with your offer that's not resonating with your market. Okay. The other 3 areas that we need to talk about, in fact, what I'm going to do is, because these videos and these podcast episodes, whatever, get a little bit long, is I'm going to break these down. I'll just hit these over the next couple of days. The next one is overwhelm. Us as coaches getting completely overwhelmed and really overworked and in a place where we can't see the things we need to see strategically because everything is in our way. That's such a big deal. Like if you're feeling overwhelmed about what you have to do right now and you're working a ton or you're working a very little, but you're still like, oh my gosh, there's so many things and I just feel like frozen, because that's an overwhelm issue. It's okay. That's really, really normal. Believe it or not, that's normal for humans, not just entrepreneurs, not just coaches. It's interesting how we can be so good at guiding our clients through a problem, or our friends or family or whatever, but so bad about guiding ourselves through that problem because we don't have the own clarity about our own situation and how it's going to work and how it's going to fix it. Next thing, and I'll talk about this another day, facilitation, group facilitation. Like what's the curriculum? How long is it going to be? How are you going to do the group thing? Let's say you're doing one-on-one coaching or done for you services and you're moving to that one-on-one thing, or you're working to a group coaching program or a mastermind or something like that. If that's what you're doing, there's a difference in how you handle one-on-one clients versus group clients. But it's way more effective when you figure it out. It's actually a little over 5 times more effective for clients when they're learning and growing in a group, if it's done correctly, than when they're by themselves one-on-one with you. It's so powerful, but you got to understand facilitation. And the third thing, or the fourth thing that we'll get to in a couple of days again, is time. How much time do you have? Now, yes, put 10 people in a coaching program instead of one at a time. You're going to get your time more under control. You're going to be able to scale time and scale income. That's awesome. That's why a lot of people get on this path. But truly what happens is a lot of people jump in this thing and they struggle with figuring out the time thing. And they never give up the habits that they've created as one-on-one coaches that they no longer need to use as group coaches. And they end up just working more. So I want to walk you through that process as well. So today, let's just park it here. We're talking about offer clarity. You've got to find a way to where when you're out there messaging, out there communicating, selling, doing all those things, that people are resonating with that message, leaning in, making comments, getting back to you, whatever, booking sales calls, whatever your process looks like, and actually purchasing. If that is not happening or not happening at the rate you want it to, then it's an offer issue. You got to get clear on that offer that's going to be able to be delivered scalably, and that your clients and prospects are going to want to engage with now and over the long term. That's really something you can do. It's not something you just wake up and stumble on. Every now and then somebody just stumbles on a lucky one. But in our programs, we teach so many people to do this. And I would prefer it take people a little bit of trial and error, because then you learn the process of what makes an offer actually work and how to fix it, versus you come up with this one lucky idea and it works for 6 months, and then the economy changes, or there's politics going on, or some world issue coming up, and all of a sudden everything freezes and stops. Like, you got to know why it works so that when stuff changes, you can make a quick tweak and keep it on track. Here's what we're going to do. If you message me or down below, I don't have the link in front of me right now, but message me. We have events all the time that walk you through how to do this stuff. Like, we have calls on a weekly basis. We have a 5-day event coming up. We do this about once a quarter, where we just take an hour or two each day for a week and do training on these things, and then Q&A after that. We have lots of ways for you to interact with me and our coaching team to get the answers you need. So shoot me a message real quick, DM, post it here, whatever. Just give me a link, whatever, and I'll do that. I'm super not interested in just blasting the link out to everybody for some of these things, because we try to keep those groups small, like 10 to 15 people at a time, so we can actually give you real value. So if that's you and you want real help on this stuff, then jump on one of our calls. We'll point you in the right direction. If we can help you, we'll. If we can't, we'll point you to someone else in our community who can. We just want you to be scalably coaching and helping people. Again, there's no agenda here. Yes, if you're the right fit and you want to be our client, awesome. We'll talk about that if that's a good fit for both of us. But agenda-free comment here. You know what you're doing out there. You've already figured something out that's very difficult for someone else to do. We want to empower you to go out there and help not just one person, but 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people or 1,000,000 people. We want you to see how you can scale your ability to help other humans. That's super amazing. If we get to that in one of these calls, it's a win for everybody. Not just you and me. It's a win for everybody, because everybody gets to learn. So get out there, be the awesome you that you are, and let's make sure you have a path and a structure in place so that they get to benefit from your awesomeness and all the work you've put in to be where you are. That's what you're bringing to the world, and that's what they need. Okay? Drop me a message. Again, not going to blast out links here. Drop me a message. We'll get back to you with, okay, here's the next structures we have. Here's, we could jump on a small call and we can actually get some resources around a 10 to 15 person call. We'll let you know our schedule. They happen quite frequently. We just want to make sure that we don't overwhelm any one call. So My apologies if there's not an opening right now. We'll get you on the next week or two, hopefully, but we try not to let you sit around and have to wait too long. Drop me a message below and I'll send you a DM or something with links, times, stuff like that. Y'all are awesome. Again, Chris Williams here for Group Coach Nation. And as always, do the work to get the results. There's no get rich quick schemes out there that are worth doing. But here's the thing. Do work, get results. I'm not a workaholic. I work 12 to 14 hours a week, maybe. Just do the right work. The right work is the stuff that's going to get you there. That's what you need to do. All right. Talk soon.